He shot lightning out of his hands and said Hadouken. Can we just appreciate this beautiful cinematic moment for a second? Okay guys, Shazam, it's time to get into it. If you guys watched my normal non-spoiler review, you know that I'm a big fan of Shazam. I really liked this movie. I thought it was great. I gave it a 5 out of 5, which I don't do very often, and so good. This is gonna be less of a review and more of me just like ranting about all the things that I enjoyed that I couldn't talk about in my spoiler-free review, so it's gonna be a little rambly. We're just gonna get into it. Okay, here we go. This movie had some great Easter eggs. For anyone that is a fan of the Shazam comics, there are some great Easter eggs, probably some that I don't even know about, but there was one that was particularly like a pretty big nod, is the tiger. Because in the comic, Shazam has a tiger. He has a pet tiger. It's like his sidekick tiger, which is awesome, by the way. But in the movie, they don't have the tiger, which I think is a good choice, because that would have been a little bit weird. So instead, when he's a kid and he's with his mom, he's like, I really want the tiger. He really wants to win the tiger. He's tiger. And then later, when he's in the booth in the amusement park and he's like hiding and there's the little girl with her dad and he gets the tiger and he hands it to the little girl and he's like, hold it tight. And it's like a really sweet moment. Tiger. Also, taking it back to the first tiger moment with the mom. What the fuck, Mom? Why are you the worst? I don't know what I was expecting. Like, I knew, for those of you that haven't seen the movie and are just watching this because you want to know all the spoilers, first of all, I'll never understand you or how your brain works. How do you do that? But for you, I will explain. Basically, the whole movie, or like the first half of the movie, Billy is like bouncing around foster homes. All he wants to do is find his mom because he lost her when he was a kid at an amusement park. They like separated in a crowd and he never found her again. So he's like trying to find his mom. So then finally, he finds her with the help of his amazing, lovely, wonderful foster siblings. And he finds where she lives and he goes to see her and be like, Mom, it's me. I'm back. I'm home. And she's just like, you know, I just don't want you. Oh, why? I knew something like that was going to happen because it was all about finding your family and it doesn't matter if your parents don't love you, you make your own parents or something like that. So I was like, I know something bad is going to happen, but she was just like, I couldn't handle having you, so I just left you abandoned. And I was so sad. It just hurt me everywhere. And then when he hands her the little like compass thing and he's like, I think you're gonna need this more than I will. And she doesn't even know what it is. She's like, what is this? And it's like, it was such a big emotional, sentimental object for him that he held for so long and she doesn't even remember giving it to him. Girl. You cannot. The worst. Just rip my heart and step all over it, why don't you? But that was a great moment. It was like a great superhero moment where like, it's that pivotal moment where he becomes the superhero and he's like, okay, my mom doesn't love me, but I have a family that does love me and we're gonna kick some ass and I'm gonna Shazam my way over there. And it's so good. Ooh, speaking of Shazamming, that's a word now. One of my favorite moments, which it was in the trailer and I'm kind of mad about it because it was such a great moment and it gave me chills everywhere, is when Billy runs off the side of the roof and he's in the air and he just goes, Shazam! Shazam! And then it's like, and he becomes Zachary Levi, Shazam, and then he flies away. So good! Such a good moment. I love this movie, guys. I love it so much. Also, we gotta talk about the big twist, the big surprise, the big, amazing, wonderful moment of this movie is when he gets all his siblings to put their hands on the staff and say Shazam, and then they're all Shazam. And it just, oh my God. That was a moment that I truly did not think was going to happen. Even if it did happen, I was like, sequel. Like, that will happen in the sequel. That's not gonna happen now. This is just about Shazam. But no, it happened, and it was just the coolest thing ever. For a split second, I thought it was gonna be stupid. It happened, and I was like, this is gonna be weird, because I really like these kid actors. I think they're really cute and funny, and now they're gonna put them in weird adult bodies and I'm not gonna be into it, but I was super into it. It was so good. The casting was amazing. The writing for them was so good. Like, Darla, okay. Darla was already, like, my favorite character in the movie. She's so sweet and so cute, and, like, you just instantly love her. And then when she becomes adult Darla, and she's still so cute, like, when she's talking to Santa Claus, and she's like, I've been a good girl, and she's just so precious. And then seeing Adam Brody cast as the adult version of Jack Dylan Grazer, like, the most perfect casting that anyone could have ever done. And I never even realized it before, but they really are, like, the same person, basically. So that was great. I was really excited about that. Shout out to Adam Brody, being my first crush ever. California. Ross Butler, he was awesome, mostly because he said frickin' Hadouken. He said Hadouken. Hadouken! So did everybody know that he shot lightning out of his hands and said Hadouken? Can we just appreciate this beautiful cinematic moment for a second? Just thank you. That was one of the best moments in the entire movie. What I really loved about the Council of Eternity, when all the siblings became the Shazam superhero things, is that they were true to the original costume designs. Like, they did not change a thing. Between them and Shazam, they were completely the way that they looked in the original comic, which is kind of funny because it was in that very classic vintage comic book phase where everything was like bright and sort of silly looking. But it totally works for this movie because it's a bright and silly movie, and I love that they didn't change them. I love that they kept it that way. They didn't try to make them look cooler or like really awesome. That's what they look like. And it's great. I love it. I think there was also some foreshadowing to Black Adam, who was like the big villain in the Shazam comics. I could be totally wrong about this, but there was like a brief moment where the wizard was like talking about how one of them once abandoned them, and he like had all the power and he released the 7 deadly sins. Like, could that be Black Adam? I don't know. Speaking of the 7 deadly sins, they were horrific. What? I went into this movie thinking this was going to be like a fun, happy, quirky, silly comic book movie. Like, haha, Zachary Levi's Shazam and he's a kid, he's 14, it's so funny. No, 7 Deadly Sins gonna come in and rip people's goddamn heads off. What? Like, the boardroom scene? That was like the moment when I realized what movie I was watching. I was like, up until then, I was like, okay, this is fun. Like, we're having a good time. Mark Strong's pretty badass. He's like kind of upset. Like, he's a good villain. And then he walks in the boardroom and he just takes his brother, not just anyone, his brother, and just throws him out the window like it's nothing. And then I was like, okay, it's gonna be that kind of movie. We're just gonna go there. We are gonna push this PG-13 rating as far as possible. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then literally everyone in that room dies. Like, his brother, his father, and all of the people that were in there, they're all dead. They're just ripped to pieces by these giant scary monsters. That was a turning point in the movie. I realized it was really fucking dark, but also really bright. It's such a great balance. It's so much fun. It was so good. And then of course we have to talk about that little tiny surprise at the end where we see a headless Superman. That was just such a great moment. It was satisfying because, like, first of all, it would have been satisfying without him because Freddy's eating lunch alone, and then his siblings come and sit with him, and it's like, oh, family, yay! And then Zachary Levi comes in, and he's like, yo, what's up? I'm Shazam! This is my best friend in the whole world! And that alone was like, yes! This is the moment I've been waiting for, and it was so good. And then it gets better. And he's like, by the way, I brought my bud, Superman. And he just walks in, and it just... That was such a great moment. I had a smile on my face for this entire film, and it was so much fun. I love this movie. Can you tell? Can you tell that I love this movie? I also really love the way that he beat Mark Strong, the villain. Like, the way that he got Envy to come out, and the fact that Envy wouldn't come out. Like, it was a very complex, like, side story happening there about, like, Envy and about the 7 deadly sins and what they do to people, and it was just... the way that he was able to bring Envy out, and that was how he weakened him and ultimately defeated him, like, that was really well done. I love that it wasn't just like a classic beat 'em up, like, I'm stronger than you and I beat you thing. Like, it was clever, and I really, really enjoyed that. I thought that was such a nice touch. So yeah, that's it for my spoiler talk review of Shazam. Let me know what you guys thought of Shazam in the comments below. I would love to talk about this movie more. It was so much fun, and I hope you liked it as much as I did. Be sure to check out my spoiler-free review if you haven't already. But that's it for this video. I'm Steph Koza. Be sure to subscribe if you like this video, or smash that like button if you liked it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!